So I recently picked up a Apple Mac Studio M4 Max thing. They really sort their naming out. And in my review, we found that it very quickly replaced pretty much all of my computing needs other than gaming. At least on the surface, just installing Steam, I didn't have many games available to me. Now, if you listen to Apple and you believe everything they say, Macs are pretty good at gaming now. And the M4 chips are supposed to be pretty good. The M5 chips coming soon, even better from a GPU perspective. But yeah, definitely had some issues. So today I want to see, can we make gaming on Mac good? What are the options available to us? Because most importantly, I would love to be able to get rid of my gaming PC. To be brutally honest, I mentioned in the review video, I don't use this thing often. I don't game often. So when I do, I want to be able to just do it on the computer I'm already on, that's been updated, things are everything ready to go. This thing, everything I turn it on has about a million different updates, and I lose all the time I have for actual gaming. So can we, to at least some reasonable extent, replace this thing, this Windows gaming PC, with my Mac Studio and actually do some gaming? I do also have a Steam Deck, which I do use fairly often when I'm on the couch or what have you. So I don't need every game that I want to play to work on Mac, but I certainly need more than the current state of natively supported. So there's a couple of ways that we can do this. Obviously, we do have some games that just run natively. For me personally, that basically boils down to Cyberpunk, No Man's Sky, and then things like Minecraft and Stardew and kind of smaller, lighter games that just kind of work everywhere. But what about the games that aren't supported? Well, just like Linux has Wine and Proton, there are methods of doing that sort of translation on macOS. And then there's also the virtualization option, just literally setting up a virtual Windows machine and running games in that. But both of those things have a performance bottleneck and definitely make things more complicated for the user. So let's take a look and see how easy it is to do that now and what games are supported from at least the games that I want to be able to play. So in terms of games that I'm looking at today, well, realistically, like I mentioned before, the native games, we've got Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky. Those are definitely the more graphically demanding games. I definitely play things like Minecraft quite a lot as well, but that kind of runs on pretty much anything, so not including that here. But we'll definitely look at No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk. I'd also really like to see if we can get Doom Eternal working as well in some form or another. That's a game that's not supported on macOS natively, but I really enjoy playing. It's a lot of fun, if you ask me. Then also another one that I get quite a lot of hate for, but I really enjoy playing Fallout 76. The game's come a long way since its original very rocky start, and I enjoy it. I enjoy playing it, but it is quite a buggy game, even under Windows. So it's always quite a good test to see if another platform is able to actually get it up and running. And then a couple of lighter games that I do also really enjoy playing would be Phasmophobia and R.E.P.O. So we're going to use those as our test benches for this video and see what we're capable of doing. I will also say in a lot of the game footage that I've captured today, there's a lot of screen tearing. I think the capture card I have is on its way out and it's dying. So if you have a recommendation for a better capture card, especially if you have one that can do both HDMI and older things like VGA and stuff, comment down below because I would love to hear about it. Now, one immediate issue with using something like the Mac Studio for gaming is storage space. The base Mac Studio, which I have, yeah, it only comes with 512 gigabytes of storage. Now, granted, that's very fast storage, but that is all that you get. So when we are trying to install all of these games, especially if we're trying to install multiple instances of all these games, yeah, we're going to run out of space very, very quickly. So to keep things fair and even, I'll actually be using an external SSD for this, and I've benchmarked that, and we seem to get about 1 gigabyte a second read and write. So it's nowhere near as fast as the internal storage, but it should be fast enough. It's certainly into the realms of SSD speeds. I'm also sure that there are plenty of games that don't work in terms of like officially supported, irrelevant of the method that we use. but do work if you do some tweaking, some changes. I'm sure if we come across some bugs here, there might be ways to fix those. But really, to keep this video concise, I'm only looking at the native experience of just installing the program, using whatever method we're using, and running it. Nothing beyond that. So yeah, it's not necessarily, again, the complete picture, but I think it will be an interesting comparison. So first up, Cyberpunk. How did that run natively on our M4 Max GPU/CPU? And so I did the benchmark, internal benchmark here, and we got a pretty solid 96 frames per second at 1080p high settings. Now that's not really super amazing, it's not groundbreaking, but you know what, it's actually completely playable. There isn't anything like ray tracing turned on here or anything like that, and yeah, there's some dips in there and then here and there, but when I actually played some gameplay, it was 100% playable. It does look really good even at those high settings at 1080p. I would be very happy and comfortable with this, and to be honest, this is probably very similar performance to what I get out of my gaming PC anyway, so I wasn't expecting miracles here. This is essentially a iGPU, an integrated GPU on the die, so you know, we can't expect miracles, but nonetheless, very playable, plenty of performance, very happy with that. And then the other game that I do have that has native support is No Man's Sky, and again, pretty playable experience. I'd say 100 plus FPS here at 1080p with high settings. There was some weird texture loading issues, but I'm going to assume that that was probably actually down to using that external SSD. And if I did install this on the internal drive, things would be much quicker there. Certainly once everything had loaded in and settled down, it was no problem at all. Very happy with the performance here. Again, very playable experience. So yeah, I think, you know, in terms of if you have games that are natively supported, you can expect a very good experience, particularly at 1080p gaming. I would go as far as to say you can probably get a little bit of 1440p gaming as well. 4K is kind of out of reach, I would say, at the moment, which is, I think, a reasonable expectation for, again, an integrated graphics card. So what about other methods to run games on Macs that it isn't native? Well, the big one is a piece of software called Crossover, which essentially uses Wine under the hood. And you may well be familiar with Wine running Windows applications under Linux, and also Wine being the kind of underlying architecture of Proton, Steam's tooling to allow you to run Windows games under Linux. So they all kind of have the same roots here. Crossover isn't a free application, however. It does have a £60 license fee. Now that license fee gives you 12 months of support. And I think that causes a bit of confusion because people think it means it's a subscription and you only get the license for 12 months. But you get a license for life. It's just that you only get support for those 12 months. And they do also have a 2-week free trial, which is what I used here. So you can definitely try things out before you have to buy. And if you're happy with the performance for your particular games, then you can go ahead and buy it. So yeah, just like Proton and Wine, this essentially translates your Windows commands into something that the Mac understands. So you install the Windows version of Steam under Crossover, and then from there you can install your Steam games within Crossover. Another slightly annoying thing here is that the Steam FPS overlay, performance overlay, doesn't seem to work, so can't get exact figures, which is a bit annoying, but nonetheless we will press on. So first thing I wanted to fire up was Doom Eternal, and yeah, unfortunately it won't run. It just kind of errors out, which is a little annoying as it was one of the games I really wanted to be able to play. So no luck there, we'll move on. Fallout 76 did actually load very smoothly, had no problem there at all. But there is a bit of a weird graphics glitch where everything is very dark. It looks like the wrong texture's being applied or something is going on here. Crossover does have like a community database that shows you compatibility lists and what is and isn't supported. And one of the things that was on that for Fallout 76 was there is an issue and there are workarounds for that. So I think you would actually be able to get 76 working pretty stably. And from what I can tell, the FPS is pretty good here, even without the right textures. So yeah, I think you could get this playable, which again, this is a very buggy game, so I'm not surprised that there were some issues. And then both Phasmophobia and R.E.P.O, honestly, not the highest frame rates going, which is to be expected when you're literally having to translate every command from essentially one language to another, but they're completely playable. So I would definitely say some of these lighter indie titles you're going to have a pretty good experience with if they only have a Windows install and you really want to be able to play them on Mac. It's definitely a viable option. So then the other option that I was looking at for this, like I kind of mentioned, is essentially virtualized Windows 11 install on the Mac. And that is supported by a piece of software called Parallels. And that is what it does. It basically sets up a virtual machine with Windows 11 inside it. It does all the kind of GPU, CPU, RAM pass-through and everything else, and allows you to run Windows applications. It also does like borderless integration, so the Windows applications kind of look like they're natively Mac applications and all that sort of stuff. So again, it's quite a good idea, and one of its selling points that it boasts about on its website is for gaming. Although I will note that the games that it highlights are pretty old, things like GTA 5 and Skyrim. So how good is this actually going to be? I'm not sure. It also mentions Minecraft for some reason, which is a bit odd because Minecraft Java works under macOS anyway. I guess it means Bedrock, but nonetheless, yeah, not the most demanding titles that it's boasting here. And Parallels, again, is paid software. It costs £55 a year to use, but they do also have a free trial. So again, you can try things out and see if they're going to work for your games and your situation. You set up your Windows 11 kind of install. It's a full virtual machine. You install Steam there, and then we try to install Doom Eternal, and it wouldn't run. We got another error, this time a JavaScript error relating to the launcher. This one seems like it could have been maybe something we could fix. It seemed like it was missing some libraries, so maybe a bit more fixable instead of just a outright crash. But again, in the spirit of this kind of quick look video, it didn't work as far as I'm concerned. And same issue for Fallout 76, although Fallout 76 just crashed out. There was no on-screen error, no kind of intel into what was actually going wrong here. It just didn't work. Again, not super surprising, buggy application, but a shame nonetheless. And then for Phasmo and for R.E.P.O, both of these games worked. We were able to get into the game and play, but they had a slightly annoying and kind of functionally limiting problem where basically the mouse, when you move down too much, it would actually bring into the macOS kind of bottom bar, the launcher bar, and that would pop up and you would be taken out of the context of the game. It also kind of seemed to like limit your mouse movements to the actual size of the screen, so you weren't able to like look all the way left or right or up or down. It definitely wasn't taking control of the mouse properly. So again, I'm not sure if this was some settings or tweaks that had to be made within Parallels, but for just a quick install experience, didn't really work very well and meant that any kind of FPS or game where you need like full mouse movement, and it's not just point and click, you're not going to be able to play it. It's not going to work under these settings with the issue that I was experiencing. And the fact that it was happening in both games suggests that it's an issue with Parallels itself. And again, maybe there's a fix. I don't know. From my very limited experience, those are kind of essentially two additional ways that you can, to some extent, play games on macOS. Is it a great experience? From my experience, no, it's not. And it really highlights actually how much effort and work Steam have put into Proton and getting these things to work under Linux. I have no doubt that if the same kind of effort, time, and money was spent on doing it on macOS, then we would have a very pleasant experience. It's a shame really that Apple probably haven't kind of done as much work there as they could to make this happen. I think they seem to have opted to kind of try to target specific publishers and actually work with them directly instead of creating some sort of compatibility layer that users can use to just play their games instead of relying on the game studios to update those games to work on macOS. So yeah, that's a shame, but still been pretty interesting. I've definitely enjoyed kind of having a bit more of a deeper look. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of little extra video as well. And yeah, so in conclusion, I guess, my gaming PC is not being replaced anytime soon, which is a shame. It's very annoying, but maybe with the M5s and maybe with the next version of macOS, things will get a little bit more improved, and we will continue moving towards a world where you actually can game on Mac as well easily as you can on Windows. Maybe, who knows, it could happen. So fingers crossed, hey, and we'll see what happens there. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I know I've enjoyed putting it together, and I'll see you again for another video very, very soon. Bye for now.